Well, how do everybody? Now this will be a little longer than the bait bucket upgrade. What we're going to do, we're going to build a portable cooler bait well to keep live bait in. Now when I say live bait, I'm talking live fish. Now you can keep shrimp, bull minnows, that kind of thing in there also, but you can't mix the two together. Because you're talking about live bait here in saltwater, we're talking saltwater fishing. 6 to 8 inch croaker, finger mullet, even maybe a little bit bigger, something like that. A small white trout, grunts, pinfish. If you put them in the same bait well with your live shrimp, they will kill them, or I have seen them eat them. So that's why the bucket option is the best way to go for live shrimp and little bull minnows, that kind of thing, or even minnows on the river. But we're focused on saltwater right now because the fishing trip coming up, my special guest is coming in. He's bringing his boat, and it does not have a live well, working live well or bait well on it. So I'm going to build this one so we can carry it with us and have our catch. We're going to catch our own live bait, with the exception of shrimp, which we may be able to catch some of them too. We don't know until we get there. But I want to have a way to keep the bait fresh all day, even overnight if we need to. We get plenty of them and going back, because we're going out every single day, weather permitting. So let's get started. This is a Igloo, my favorite. Y'all know I'm an Igloo guy, made in the USA. Nothing against any of the rest of them. I've always preferred Igloo. They're affordable, they work. And I actually had another one a little bit bigger than this I was going to use, but that one doesn't have a drain. It's on the other side, drain plug on the cooler, and that's very important to have right here, so you can drain out your dirty water when you get done. So let's show you what all we're going to need. It looks like a pile of junk on the shop bench, and I already had the cooler. I've had it for, I don't know, a couple years. We picked it up somewhere. We got off somewhere and needed one, didn't have one, and got it. Total cost on this for me is $0. Now this is a Tsunami T500, 500 gallon per minute. This come out of the old boat because I put a new one in the new boat. And instead of it sitting in a box somewhere, just sitting there until I need a spare, I will go ahead and use this one. Now these are not all that expensive really, around $20 I think, something like that. And I only had to run that one once in all the years in the old boat, pump some water out. And it was when I took a wave, a bad wave, but they work good. I've already tested it on a battery and it still works. I cleaned it up some. Now, first thing we're going to do, and this video will run long, so don't bear with me though. Okay, I got the hot glue gun plugged in. You never want to mount these even in the boat flat. Alright, you want to put them on something so water can flow all up under there. So what I'm going to do, let's just go ahead and take it off of here. Very simple. See inside there, that's your little impeller that actually pulls the water through. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to use hot glue. I love hot glue, plus I've already got it. And we're going to hot glue this to here. I don't want any more screws in there than I've got to have. Now I should have plugged that in earlier. Take just a second for this to heat up. And the other stuff you'll need, this is regular PVC fittings, 1/2 inch. Got a cap, a 90. You don't have to have the threads, but that's the only one I have, so we'll use that. This is some old scrap 1/2 inch pipe, which we'll get to in a little while. PVC glue. PVC pipe cutter is always handy to have. Scissors. And this is plumber's strap, but it's plastic. We don't, like I said, the less metal in there, the better. And the only metal we're going to have is a couple of old hose clamps. Now, while we're waiting on the glue gun to heat up, we'll be right back in just a minute and show you how this process goes. Alright, glue gun's hot. I really like hot glue. Works good. Doesn't take very long at all for it to set up. And it is waterproof. Alright, that should do it right there. Now we're going to put this back on here. Line it up. Click it back in. Ready to go. Now let's see. Move the camera again. It's a little awkward. First thing I want to do is locate or find my location where I'm going to mount the pump, and I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to hot glue it to the bottom. I don't want to drill any holes in the cooler unless I have to, which I will up here, but we'll see that in a minute. Now, just like we did before, make sure your cooler's clean. This one is. It's going in this corner over here somewhere, so we're going to rough it up a little bit. And that just helps that hot glue to have something to bind to. Or you can use epoxy or anything you want to use. Double-sided tape, which I'm not a big fan of. I did find a little bit, excuse me, the double-sided tape I had over there, but it's reusable. And to clean it out, or clean it off when you reuse it, you wash it in water. So that didn't sound like it would work to me. Alright, let's get us another glue stick going. Alright, now I'm going to sit right in there, something like that. Now I have seen them where guys just put something on top of them. I don't like that idea. I want it to be sitting there nice and solid. Let's get us plenty of glue on there. Stick it down like this. Hold it for a few minutes. Now your spout here, where the water comes out, you want that parallel with the back of your cooler. And we'll see why here in just a minute. Okay, let that sit there a minute. Now, this is 3/4 tubing, clear tubing. I thought I had some new stuff, but I don't. But when I replumbed the new boat, this is what came out of it. Old stuff, but it'll work just fine. I've already washed it on the inside. I put some bleach in there. So what we want to do is get a rough measurement. And come right up here. I'm going to call it right about where my thumb is. And I'm going to cut this off. These things are so handy. You get a nice clean cut every time. Now, I'm going to take this outside and see if I can clean that up just a little bit more before we move on. and then we'll start working on the spray bar. Alright, let's get our spray bar length measured roughly, and we can always trim this back if I need to. Okay, so we're going to go, let's go about here. Just a minute, we'll move back up on the bench so we can see better. There we go. Put that to the side, because we might need that for another project one day. Y'all know my motto, don't throw anything away. Because you might need it. Alright, let's move back over here to the workbench. Get all this out of the way. Now we're going to take a cap, half-inch cap. We're going to glue it on here. We want this permanent, never to come off. Just a little bit of PVC glue, just like you're fixing a water pipe or something, same thing. Turn it just a little. I take a rag myself when I can to keep that big glob of glue from getting on there. Just like that. That's done. Won't leak, won't come off. Now, finish building the spray bar. We need to drill some holes. Whole bunch of holes all the way down here. And we want them as straight as we can get them. And the way I think I'm going to do it, see all these letters here? That's a pretty straight edge right there. I'm going to follow these letters till I get to probably right about here. And that should be plenty straight enough. Hang on a minute. Let's get us a ruler. Just like that. Now for this part you can use a hand drill, a regular drill, or in my case I'm going to use the drill press because it's much easier and much faster, much easier to control. Alright, we'll go over there and see how that goes. Now I'm using a 5/32 drill bit because I don't think 1/8 inch would be quite big enough, because like I said, that's a 500 gallon per minute. It's going to be pretty stout. So we're going to need a bunch of holes. Now this drills very easily, so I don't need to clamp it down or anything. Oh, see, I got off on that one still, but that's okay. So on and so forth. Alright, got all my holes drilled. That's just an old piece of scrap stainless rod. That's the only thing I got that'll fit in there. I'll make sure I scrape off any of the little pieces of plastic. Drilled pretty clean. Except that one. There we go. Alright, spray bar. It's ready. That's all it is right there. Now let's move back over here. Let's unplug that glue gun. It's going to start dripping all out. Now we're going to decide where I'm going to position this. go under here, turn down like this. So the next step, oh, sorry about that. We want to turn down. Okay, and we're going to put an anchor here, one about the middle, and one about there. But I don't want it flat up against here like this. I want it to stand off a little bit. So I've got a couple more, 3 more little blocks of wood. Now this is just plain old pressure treated 1x4. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna hot glue these here, get them even as I can, and then I'll go back with the plumber strap and some stainless screws and fasten them like that. That will allow me to put in the filter system that we'll see in a little while. Hang on, let's get this moved down. I'm hitting it with my hat. There we go. Just like everything else, rough it just a little bit. I'll plug the glue gun back in. It's still hot. And this is a Stanley commercial glue gun. Had it for a long time. They are very handy, very good tools. They hold up very well. The ones you buy at the Big Blue store, those work too. Those are good. Or the hobby stores, those are okay. But if you use one and abuse one like I do, I prefer to get the little bit better grade. And I have not found any difference in glue sticks anywhere. So the last bag of these big ones I bought was at, I believe, at the hobby store. I believe Hobby Lobby. Hold it for just a second, let it dry. Like that. And if you touch it with your other finger like that, it is very hot. Ouch. That's okay. Alright, to mount the spray bar, what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear off the workbench a little bit, and I'm going to set it up on the bench itself so I can get to it a lot easier and you can see it a lot better. Now, I've got my spray bar positioned to where I want it. I went ahead and took the lid off because it was really in the way. What I did, I got it in the angle this way, where it should spray right about the middle, which is where I want it. So I put me a little mark straight up and down here, so I don't lose my place where I want it. Now I'm going to take the glue gun, and this is just to tack it in place till I get the strap on there. Sure it's straight. That'll keep me from knocking it loose, maybe. As I tend to get a little clumsy, especially in tight places like this, because my drill is not going to fit for these holes for the strap here. I'm going to have to do it by hand. There, that'll hold it. Now I'll take some strapping, figure out where I want it, about the length. About there. Cut me 3 pieces the same. Just about the same. Doing this, I want to make sure my holes are fairly well lined up. Snip that off. And measuring like this, always go with your original cut. Like that. Close enough. Now these are some of these stainless screws that I had salvaged. Which really helps. The stainless screws are stainless anything is very expensive. Sorry, I'm going. My hands are all up in the way. But that one there. Shouldn't be that hard to get it in there by hand. Don't have to have power tools for everything, but it sure does help. Okay, that one's fastened good. Let's see, let's get the camera back out a little bit. There we go. Now we use some power. Like that, and that will hold it on each one till the cows come home. Now there's a little sharp edge right there, and I know what's going to happen if I don't trim that off. The first person that cuts his hand on it will be me. Alright, see that? Now I'm going to do the same thing here and here. Now let's put our tubing on there. This 90 is going to go right here, and it will go around this way. Excuse me. The reason I'm doing it this way is because this is old. It's not really flexible, and I don't want a kink in it anywhere. So I found out if I take these threads here, it will actually thread into that. Just like that. And it's tight enough. I don't believe that I'm going to need a clamp on it. Just like that. If it comes off, all we gotta do is put a clamp on it, no biggie. Now we'll get us a dry fit, test it out. Just like that. That way it's not so much in the way of your bait swimming around in there. It's not kinked up anywhere. So let's get us a little bit of glue. You always want to make a dry fit, a test fit, before you start gluing stuff. Ask me how I know. Just a little bit. Just like that, let it lay flat against there. It'll take but a minute for that to set. Now, done with this, and we'll put it away right quick. Now, on this end, I am going to need a clamp. just for safe measure, just to be sure. And these are old recycle clamps too, so slide it on like that. Put a clamp up there, screwdriver. Screwdriver, or I believe that's a 1/4 inch socket or something like that. Doesn't have to be torqued down really tight. So. It's like that. That's all. That's all it is. Do not be an over fastener like a friend of mine that I know. You have to go to them meetings and all that kind of stuff. Alright, that's it for right this second. Now, let me grab another couple tools and I'll show you the next step. Almost done. Now, I tape these wires up. I'll probably put another little piece there before I get done. And I'm going to lay flat down in here and come out the side of the cooler. Not the side of here, out the cooler itself. So I got a 1/4 inch drill bit. Drill me a hole right there. I think 1/4 inch would be big enough. Me, Mr. Thumbsy. Feed them wires through there. Tape joint is right there. Now let's go back to the hot glue gun. I'm just going to tack these wires down to the edge here and put a little bit there so water don't slosh out. And that should hold it fine, because I don't want the fish to get, especially if they're big baits, they'll get to running around in there. I don't want them hanging up all in that wire. Let the glue gun warm up again. Let's see, let's go ahead and put some tape. And the shore shooting one of them will get his head in between there. Now while we're waiting on the glue gun to heat up, let me mention why this is so important here where I live. And the buckets too in the last video. Floating bait baskets and buckets work absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong with them. Here on the river, if you got a fish basket, a floating bait bucket hanging off the boat, y'all know what we have here, and have lots of them, is alligators. They will sneak up on you and get a hold of your bait or your fish or whatever you got hanging over. And that's why a bucket's important. In salt water, even in the bay, you got sharks. You get out in the Gulf, you got barracudas. You got all kind of predator fish that will come along the top of the water and hit whatever you got floating around out there. So you got to be careful not to lose everything. That's why it's important to have it all inside the boat, in my opinion. Now if you live somewhere where you don't have a lot of alligators or that type of thing, them other ways to do it, absolutely. And the baskets like the old timers used to use especially brim fishermen, bluegill fishermen. A lot of times you'll pull that basket up to put a fish in it, and you will find a big old water moccasin in there trying to eat the fish. A lot of things you got to think about. Okay, and I'll seal that hole, and I'll put a dot on the outside, just to make it look like I know what I'm doing. Okay, we'll let that dry just a minute. And we are just about ready to test. Oh, filter. I got to build a filter system. Wait till you see this. Well, let's put just a little bit more on this one. There, just put it on there. Alright, I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to go inside. My filter system is in the house. And I'll be right back. We'll do that, and then we will put her through a test run. I'm not going to test it first. We're going to do it all together. How about that? Let's get creative, shall we? Air conditioner filter. I could not find any aquarium filter material that suited me. Have to buy the cartridges and all that kind of stuff. I know somebody makes it, and I'll find some one of these days. I think this will work just as good. And this is a new filter. That could have been done a lot neater, I'm sure. Let's measure us off a piece. Well, pretty much the length of that. What we're going to do is wrap this around the spray bar. Cut it like this. So that way when the water comes back up, recirculates, it will catch anything the fish might spit out of his mouth, catch the poop, scales, all that kind of stuff that will clog up the spray bar. You don't want to be dealing with a clogged up spray bar while you're trying to fish. Okay, and we'll cut as many as we can cut out of that and put them in the tackle box or somewhere. And probably every time you use it, wash it or just get rid of it. I think them filters in the package of 3, these thin ones, like $2 or something like that. Let's see, put there, let's put it like it's a little cut right there. Maybe a little more of a cut. There we go. Same thing down here. Just a cut. And the same thing here. Now I saw a lot of bait wells like this on boats, on YouTube. But I'm taking full responsibility and credit for the air conditioner filter strainer. Actually, I believe it was Mama's idea at the store when we couldn't find that stuff. I'm put it here, and I got this ain't the clamps I wanted to use, but that's all I've got. So put a clamp on it there. I'll find some little plastic clamps somewhere. If it works right, which I'm sure it will. Put a clamp there. Put one here. Go up. Oh, don't want to be too awful tight. There. Let's see, and there's not a spray hole down here, so we'll just clip this off a little bit closer. Like that. Same here. There we go. Get the little fibers out of there. What do you think? Now I'm going to put the lid back on it. And I'm going to extend these wires a little bit. I'm not going to put the permanent wiring in yet because I don't know where it's going to go in the boat, how far we've got to go to where we can get power or anything like that. So we'll wait and do that. That'll be just a matter of a few minutes when they get here and everything starts to work. We start getting ready to fish. But let's put the lid back on it, take it out by the sink, put some water in it. I've got an old battery sitting here that'll work, so let's see what happens. Alright, moment of truth. That's about a comfortable water level, maybe a little more. Let's hook it to the battery. I got the ground already hooked. I have not turned this on, I promise. Let's see what we got. And there we go. That will put a lot of oxygen in the water. Now when we get in the boat and get to the fishing grounds, what we'll do is take a bucket and fill it up. Remember, we're in salt water. Without the filter, it would spray a little harder, I think. But I think that filter is vital to keep the water pretty clear and keep all that regurgitation stuff and everything else from stopping up inside the pump itself. How about that? Alright, I'm going to sit here and watch it for a few minutes. Here we go with the camera again. Let's move it down. Now that goes to show you, you can build something very, very useful, very nice for stuff you have sitting around a lot of times. If you had to buy everything for this, 20, 40, I would guess $50, and you can build your own. There we go. I hope y'all enjoyed that. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by a dead battery. I forget what I was saying. Look around the house, the shop, the garage, the yard. And be surprised what you can make. And watch you too. Watch me first and watch everybody else. Alrighty, one more look. It's been running all together for about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. Wires are nice and cool. Everything seems to be fine. So I'm going to drain it out, dry it out good. And we have bait catching devices, bait nets ready to go. Bait poles ready to go. 2 bait buckets ready to go. ready to go. I'm looking so very forward to this little fishing expedition that's going to happen around here. I thank y'all very much for watching. My new subscribers, thank y'all very much for being here. We will get another look at the boat here in another couple of days. And maybe it might hit the water for a test this week. We'll see. And once again, thank y'all very much for supporting my channel. And fishing's on the way. See you later.